close to 4 hours together. And I've always been very forthright with you about what my goal is. My goal has always been to identify the suspect and prosecute him to the full extent of the law. And the only question I have today is, are you willing to help me do that?
Absolutely.
Okay. It is important that you understand that all our conversations prior to this time, in particular those that you had with Detective Thompson or anyone else, have been baseline investigative matters. We've made an arrest in a case. And I need you to help me with this. The issue is this. I have to have today, and if you're not up to it today, I can understand that you're under intense emotional stress. If you're not capable today, I understand that. But you have to tell me. What I have to have is I have to have the truth.
Right.
Nothing but the truth.
Right.
All of it. Unabridged. Undiluted.
Right.
Pleasant or unpleasant.
Right.
And if you're ready to do that, now is the time to talk. If you can't do that now, you need to tell me I can't do that now, and we'll do this at another time.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm asking you?
I think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you ready to tell me the unabridged, unadulterated truth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when Rabbi called, he said you have some interesting things to tell me. That's Lieutenant Barnes.
Oh, So I told some of these things yesterday. I'm just going to reiterate a couple of them. I don't know, and then I guess tell you what led me to feel so strongly yesterday about what I said, about having this gut feeling that it was him, I guess. I called him on my way to the hospital, along with several other people. So I was trying to call my friends. I was trying to tell him I wasn't coming back to work. I called my next-door office neighbor, but I called him a couple of times, more than once. And I told you, where was he? I don't know. At the time I just made, of course he's busy. He's in some meetings, right? He's in meetings all the time. So that's that. That's what started it on that front, for me in my mind. And then this thing about him going into the hospital just seemed odd to me. And then the Thursday, remember this dinner, I told you yesterday, this holiday party they had. The group had a holiday party on from Thursday or Friday night. And he sends me an email, the work email, saying, just wanted to let you know we weren't sure whether we should have the holiday party or not because of what happened to me. He thinks I would think everyone deserves a break. And then he proceeded to include the speech, the prayer that he said at the holiday party, which I couldn't even really read, and I didn't even, I read parts of it, and all I was getting was super aggravated, and I was most aggravated with the line of, everyone deserves a break. So I emailed him back and said, the only thing that anyone deserves is for Rusty to be back on this planet. And then he emails me back saying, I absolutely agree, honestly. And he's telling me.
Okay, let me ask you.
Okay, let me just finish for a minute. And then I said, and then he's like, be strong, blah, blah, blah. I said, nothing you're saying is helping. Do not text me. I said, do not email me. And then I didn't hear from him for a while, except for these emails from work saying he's sick, he's this, his grandmother, whatever, his mother-in-law died, all the stuff I told you yesterday. And then I went back and I checked my emails. And there's an email. You want to see it? Okay. there's an email from him, and I haven't been checking all my emails, but I saw an email from him. He sent me an iTunes song. I don't even know what that is. I've never gotten an iTunes song. And then there's a message at the top, like when you send somebody a gift card. And it says something to the lines, and I'll show you, something to the effect of, I know you didn't want to hear from me, because I told him I didn't want to hear from him. And he must be going through so much, and anger or something. And then it has a lot of dots in it. And then there's the word, I didn't, ... I didn't do it. I'm assuming that's what he meant. And so I didn't read the rest, because it just made me nauseated. And I'm thinking, is he just a friend sending, because, anyways.
Let's establish a new foundation.
Okay.
The foundation is that he sat in this room for about 4 hours yesterday and talked. The secondary part of that foundation is I've had investigators sitting at GD most of the day.
Today?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Talking.
Okay.
Based on the foundation of what he told us yesterday and what the co-workers told us today.
Yeah.
What is it you think they told us?
My co-workers told you? I have absolutely no idea.
What do you think he told us?
Oh, I'm sure he told you that he thought I was in love with him. Or something along those lines. He's crazy. I don't know what he told you. That he was in love with me? That he was infatuated? That he stalked me? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know what he said. That he wanted to be my husband? That he went crazy? I'm hoping he said he went crazy. Because he's crazy.
Why do you say it's crazy?
Because you told me that he shot someone. My husband. Why would anyone shoot anybody else? Why would someone, no matter how they might feel about someone else, why would they kill them? Why? Why? Everyone at work loves him. They think he's the greatest thing ever. Great boss. Good mentor. How would we know he was crazy? How did he hide that he was crazy? Who sent the song? What was he hoping? What was he hoping? That I would recover and fall in love with him? I don't have an answer. I really don't. I told Detective Andy, and I know, but I told you this yesterday. I know by the way he looked at me that he had feelings for me. I told you that yesterday when we met. I told you. I mean, I didn't think it was anything worth killing anybody over. What is? But I don't know what to do. I don't know. Yeah, he had feelings for me. He made them clear. I was never, ever going to be my husband. Ever. Ever. So did that make him go crazy? I don't know. I don't understand crazy people. I don't. Please. Ask me a question. Don't ask me. What do you... I don't know. What do you want?
You understand that as this prosecution goes forward, there's nothing that we're going to be able to hide from the press and the public. That part of the prosecution is all information we develop will be made part of public record.
I know. really nice.
Do you understand that everything we find during this criminal investigation is going to be part of public record? That it will be provided to the defense? That it will be argued over in court? Do you understand that we cannot hide any of this information?
Okay.
Do you truly understand?
I understand. So, you're asking me...
I'm asking you if you truly understand that everything he said yesterday and everything that you have told us and everything that the co-workers in our investigation indicates and brings forward will become part of the public record and will be provided to the defense prior to his prosecution. Do you really understand that?
I do understand. I understand that, yeah, I can sit here and tell you, yes, he had feelings for me. He made them very clear. He sent emails.
Did he send you emails on a private account or a corporate account?
Corporate account, I guess. I don't think I ever remember getting maybe one or two. Rusty was helping him to find another job. And he had expressed that he wanted to get out of GE. And I said Rusty was a good networker. And you should meet. And they did.
What do you know about Hemy's wife?
I never met her. I know that they were either separated. I've told them this before.
When did they separate, or do you know?
I don't know the exact date. Past couple months, maybe? Past couple months. I don't know the date. He expressed being unhappy to more than just me, other co-workers.
Did you tell the co-workers you had an affair with?
I have no idea.
How many days after you returned from England and Scotland did he move out of his house?
I don't know. A week? I honestly don't remember. I know that he did. I know that he got separated, but I don't know the date. It could be... It could be right after. Sure. I don't know the date.
Do you have a laptop at work?
I do.
You have it or you can look at it?
I have it in the house, probably. Someone brought it for me, maybe.
When was the last time anyone other than yourself had access to it?
Anyone other than myself?
Here, go back for just a second. Who brought it to you?
When they came, when he was in my house for shit, he came to the house. And he and a bunch of other co-workers came to the house.
Hemy brought your computer back to you?
I don't know whether it was him or someone else in the group, but yeah.
This could be very important. I want you to think real hard.
Okay, let me think about it.
Who else would have access to your computer? Is it Hemy that gave you your computer back?
Let me think for a second. I have a cousin who works for GE in a different state, and he was here, for the whole ordeal. And he was talking with Hemy, about my days off and what I was going to do and all of that. And he came and told me that my computer was returned, and I don't know who handed it to him. So I'd have to ask him whether it was Hemy that handed him the computer or one of the other people in the office. I'm going to assume it was Hemy. My next door office neighbor, Alan, Shackley is his name, who I got a hold of that morning. I left my computer at my desk. You know, he may have gone into my office, shut it down. I don't know how the whole thing transpired. I wasn't there. So yeah, I guess maybe then he gave it to Hemy. I mean, I'm speculating here. I don't know who gave what to whom.
So you've had your computer back since
Tuesday, since the GE people came to the Shiva, a group of them.
So you had a chance to be on that computer?
Yes. My mailbox was full. You know, like I had gotten so many emails, and I couldn't get any more emails. So I logged on when I was in Florida and moved all the messages from my inbox into a local folder so that I could keep continuing to receive emails on it because I kept getting these mailboxes full of messages. And then that was that. And then Monday night, I turned it on again to do my expense report because I explained to you or someone else my corporate card. I have expenses from November, and my corporate card was going to be shut off because the expenses were more than 60 days past due. So I logged on 5 minutes. I submitted my expense report for $80 or something. And then I sent 3 emails. One to Janet Jenkins, who has sent me a condolence card saying she lost her husband and her baby was 4. And I wanted to talk to her, and I thought and then Ann Abahazi and Jerry Morton, who are 2 people I work with in my group, and that they've been really kind about calling and wanting to get together. So I thought, and then I sent an email to Hemy saying, I'd like to see that. I want to know if everyone's going to be in the office. I can only come in once because I can't handle going out for longer periods of time. And Jana got back to me, and Ann and Jerry got back to me, and then Hemy said, I'm not feeling well, I won't be in the office tomorrow. And hope to see you another time. And that was it. I haven't turned my computer on since.
Has the computer been changed or abridged or anything removed from it the last time you recall?
I don't think so. I mean, not in my possession.
From the time you left it on your desk, from November the 18th,
on my desk, right.
to the time you got it back, had it been changed, abridged?
I wouldn't be able to tell.
Would you know if any email that was sent from someone that you noticed anything missing?
Missing?
Anything deleted that shouldn't have been deleted?
No, but I haven't looked. You know, I haven't spent time sitting and going through deleted emails. I mean, that's what you're asking? I mean,
The email that about the iTunes with I didn't do it. Is that on this one?
Yes. I mean, it's on my BlackBerry. He sent it. Sure.
Which account did he send it to?
I'll tell you. I don't know. My Yahoo account.
Is that how he communicates with you via Yahoo account?
No. But I told you he had my Yahoo account because he sent his resume to me to send to Rusty when Rusty was trying to help him look for other jobs. So that's why he has my Yahoo account. And then 20 minutes later, after the iTunes, he writes an email with no content but saying in the subject line, please don't reply to what I sent you. was my friend. I thought, fear. We had dinners together. I mean, we traveled.
We'll get into that in just a second. Would you mind giving me your password to your Yahoo so I can look through any of these emails from him to you and print them?
Password is Rusty.
All lowercase?
Yes.
All?
Yes. Several of my friends, some of which are sitting outside here, will tell you that I told them that my boss was interested in me and I was asking for their advice on what to do.
What did they tell you?
Tell him no. Tell him no. That's essentially what they said. He'll go away.
Tell him no, report to HR. Tell him no, don't report to HR. Tell him no, tell your husband. Tell him no, don't tell your husband.
No, those things never really came up. The report to HR thing, it just never, it was just one of those things where I thought, okay, he's interested, and then I can't ruin my career. What am I supposed to do? It wasn't, it didn't seem confrontational. It didn't seem, I don't know.
So you went to work there in April?
Yes.
And he was in your person you reported to from the beginning?
Yes.
The first travel that you ever did with Hemy was on what day and where?
We went to Melbourne, Florida for a day. Maybe end of May.
One day there?
Yes.
Overnight stay there?
It must have been, because there's no way we could fit in meetings, yes.
Flew in the night before or stayed the night after?
No. Flew in the night before and went home.
Okay. The next travel trip?
Soon after, Beachwood.
Next one after that? Did you travel after that? That was again the day trip? One night?
Yes.
Okay. After October?
None.
Okay. So, when was the first time that, what was the first hint that you thought that he had feelings for you other than the work relationship?
After the Norfolk trip.
So back in June, so what happened in that trip?
It wasn't actually on the trip itself. I think we were just back. And we worked in separate offices and buildings. I think we had gone to a lunch meeting or something. I don't know, when I got out of the car, I felt like he was talking in a weird, sort of weird, more personal way than what we had been talking.
And that's after you came back from the war?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. And after that, what did you say anything to him?
But not at that time.
Okay.
I called my friend Tammy Parker.
Tammy Parker?
Yeah.
Is she here today?
No. But you could call her.
Would you tell me?
I think my boss is hitting on me. I think you used those exact words.
What can he say?
She said she was so sorry and that I need to ignore him and do whatever I can to, stay away from him. That's what she said. Okay.
Say things are rusty?
No.
Okay, so that was right after Norfolk in June, and then the next trip, Minden, Nevada,
Right.
2 days. Just you and Hemy on that flight, or
Well, I
other
didn't
group?
fly with him. He went with his boss and went other places that week. Something like that. To visit plants or something. I flew by myself. I was either before he was, or I don't know, whatever.
You stay at the same hotel where you were staying?
Yeah, so did his boss. We all were in some. There's only like one hotel in the town.
Anything happened?
Yeah, no. So we drove to dinner. That's when this poem nonsense came up, and he's saying he wants to tell me how he feels about me or something. He reads this poem, and I sort of freak out, and then I sit him down, and I say, let's sit down, and I say, I asked him, I said, are you happy in your marriage? And he said yes. And I said, well, why is this happening, or what? Where is this coming from? And like, this doesn't happen to me. This is not, I'm not, whatever. And his response at that time was, I wouldn't want to do anything to make you feel uncomfortable or jeopardize your job or anything like that. So that's what he said. And that was that, pretty much.
He's telling you how he feels about you.
Restaurant. Don't remember the name. It's in Lake Tahoe. It's just like a 10-minute drive from Minden. And we were just standing on a railing right outside the restaurant. Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe not every time.
Who did you talk to about this time? Talk to him.
I'm sorry, what?
This time when he urged you to call, who did you talk to this time?
I also called Tammy after I came home, or on the way home. And I told her what happened, and that I was right, that he was hitting on me, which I still wasn't sure, like I didn't even know if it was like I'm being your friend or I'm hitting on you. And then she said yes. That's creepy and weird, and you did the right thing, and she was sorry this was happening because I expressed to her on the phone that
You expressed to her on the phone what?
We needed this job. Rusty, I've explained this to Andy before. Rusty was unemployed. I needed to have a job. I didn't want to jeopardize my job. I didn't want to, I don't know. I needed the money.
How big for I'm just trying to ask the question.
Yeah.
So you didn't say anything to him out of fear of your job? Hey, knock it off. That's not appropriate.
I did say I'm worried about how we can work together again, or, can we work together? I was sort of flabbergasted by the whole thing, and
this is all after the lake talk.
Right.
Okay. So you had dinner. What was the conversation at dinner? Did he leave it alone, or did he pursue it?
He left it alone. We just talked about normal stuff. He did tell me, life story kind of stories, or like, as I was telling him, like where I went to undergrad, like stories. And he was telling me about his grandparents that came over on some boat from somewhere, I don't even remember. Like those kind of stories. He told me about his, I don't know why he was telling me sister. He has a sister, I guess, and she was raped as a child. I don't know why he was sharing all this with me, but he felt I was easy to talk to. I don't know.
So then again in Greenville, so what was do you have women's intuition at that point? How are you feeling? Do you feel safe? Around him, or you think he was going to keep pursuing? Did you worry at all for your own safety, or think he's going to make some sexual advance to you? How are you feeling?
I think I always thought about it or worried, not from a safety perspective, because I could handle myself, I guess, but worried, yeah, I guess, because it was, I had to, I don't know, he was my boss, needed him to do my job, but safety, like what's going on here now, with what happened, no.
Let me ask you this, the trips, one or all or any combination of these trips, do you feel that you had to go and there was a reason for you to go on each trip, or was it just a convenience for him to take you along?
I had to, all the trips that we took were to, I want to use the word plant, but there's a different word, I'm sure there's sites that I was responsible for, that the job that I had was a global, and there were multiple software group locations, and part of what everyone does when they start their job, when they're a manager, like I was, is go visit and meet the people that are working there. So all of them, I wanted to go, I needed to go to, I have 3 people that did report to me. One's in India, which we hadn't made it to no one in the office. It was a travel ban. And I have one in Scotland and one in Cambridge. And I had never, I had met the Cambridge guy I had met briefly when he was in Atlanta for a training class in like my third week or something. But I hadn't met, like sat down with him. So yeah, I had to go on all these trips, and he said he had to go because his boss told him his objectives for the year were to get out there, have people see him.
So did he plan each and every one of these trips, and then?
I planned. Did he come up with the dates? I mean, we would sit down and say. I would list off the places that were left. Like, I have to go to London, or I have to go to Scotland, and I'd be looking at my calendar, and then him deciding whether he was going to go or not, and then looking at his calendar, and then back and forth.
Is there any reason that you couldn't have done these trips by yourself?
I could have.
Did you make any trips this year by yourself without him?
Training, Denver, auditor training class.
In Denver? What month was that?
Okay. July also. It was like the week after Linden. I remember because my husband had to do 2 weeks like by himself, you know, with the kids almost in a row. I came home for the weekend, and then I sort of had to leave again for this training class.
Yes. Hemy was not in Denver?
No, I mean, not that I know of, but
interest in you?
Yeah, he asked me again. What?
Did you ever express interest in a relationship after Lake Tahoe?
I mean, I guess. I mean, nothing like that I can directly point to except for him. I point to, like, I guess he would say, I wish you would change your mind, you know, that kind of comment.
Other than Tammy Parker, did you talk to him about this?
Andrea Sneiderman.
Andrea here today?
No. Shayna is here today. She knew about it.
What did you tell Shayna?
Same thing that my boss had expressed an interest in me, and it was, I didn't know what to do. And
what did Shayna say?
She didn't, again, say much of anything. She just said she was sorry that it was happening, and that's all I remember her saying.
It came time to go to England and Scotland.
Yeah.
So what kind of planning was done before that trip?
A lot, actually.
Whose part?
Both. I had never been to either of these places, so I wanted to see things or see areas. So again, he and I like went back and forth on this little spreadsheet of like, you're in charge of these days and I'm in charge of these days, you know, to find sites to see. And for the 2 hours that we had after work or after meetings, like, could we go here or there, or a restaurant that was popular or something.
I can understand your excitement about that, but help me understand based on what you told us here, you're telling your friends you have a concern about this guy. You're about to go on a trip out of the country with this guy who's been hitting on you. Do you have any concern about what's going to happen? You're over here, you're on work vacation kind of thing with him?
was I concerned? I mean, it was fun, to go. I wasn't concerned about my safety or, he made it very clear to me that, he cared, about my success, about, my happiness, like, why?
Yeah, what Rusty have any comment or about you going out of the country with Hemy for a week in England and Scotland?
No.
Had you ever met him up until that time?
Yes.
Well, how did that occur? What happened to you?
I told you that Hemy expressed an interest very early on. I wouldn't be able to tell you what day. You'd have to look at Rusty's emails. That he wasn't progressing in GE as fast as he wanted. Maybe he should go out into the private sector in the corporate world. And so, Rusty, he sent me his resume. I forwarded it on to Rusty. And they met.
You switched back
more than once.
Switched back to your trip to England there. You flew together from Atlanta to Scotland or England first?
Scotland first.
When you got there, the work the first day, or did you have time to go visit something? What would you do?
It takes a whole day to travel there. We left on a late Saturday night, like a red-eye type thing. And then we got into one airport and had to take, a plane to the Edinburgh airport in Scotland.
Did you fly from Scotland back to England or train?
Scotland.
Places did you go visit when you were in
Scotland?
The tourist sites, where did you go see?
The castle in Scotland.
In Edinburgh?
Right. We went to a couple pubs, really ancient local pubs. We walked around in Cambridge, it's a college town, so we walked around this shopping area probably 3 times. I bought gifts for my kids.
So from there, where next while you're on that trip?
He went to, I stayed in Cambridge Friday, had a meeting with my team, the 2 team. The India guy flew in, and I met with my other 2 team members in a team meeting all day, to work on a document. He went somewhere else. He went to a plant in, I don't remember the name of the town.
Did you?
Glasgow? No, Andy, Glasgow. That's another country. No. It was around Cambridge somewhere. A plant.
I know I asked you if Rusty made a comment about your trip, but I failed to ask you, did Rusty know that Hemy was on this trip with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Did he take any pictures?
Did I take any pictures?
Yeah.
No, I didn't bring a camera.
No pictures? You've never been to England and Scotland? All this planning and the spreadsheets about before you went, and no pictures?
No, I didn't bring a camera.
Okay. Did Hemy have a camera?
Not that I noticed. I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
I've been to Edinburgh. It's a beautiful place.
It is.
And then, just even while you were there, I wish I had a camera when you go to the drugstore and get one, or...
No, that never crossed my mind.
Okay.
We were at the castle for 30 minutes before it closed. No, I didn't take any pictures.
All right, so anything said by Hemy to you during that trip that gave you alarm or worry, or he's a perfect gentleman on this trip?
Alarm, worry? I mean, worry? No, I don't have worry. I just... We had a good time. You know, it was a lot of driving, a lot of just chatting, a lot of laughter. Last night we drove, again, he went to a plant on Friday. I had the team meeting. I took a car into London. We stayed in London because our flight was out from London the next day. We walked through that theater. I don't know what you call that, the theater district. We ate sushi. It was like an Asian restaurant. We just walked. Then that's all okay, keep going.
So after England, you're back at work for just a few weeks, I guess. So that's end of September, and then October rolls around, and the last trip was back to Greenville.
Right.
You stayed at the hotel, just Hemy and you, or other people from work?
No, it was just Hemy and me.
Anything occur, you'll have dinner because it's just the two of you?
Right.
Okay. Anything said then, or?
No, except I remember distinctly we were talking about my grandparents. For some reason, we got on a conversation about my grandparents. My grandfather passed away, and I was emotional about him being gone. Anyways.
You had a lot of time along with him, and he's telling his life stories. Did he ever get into the subject of his finances, good, bad, or otherwise?
Yes.
What's he telling you about his finances?
He told me that he and his wife were in debt. That's what he told me.
Bad debt, good debt, just a little?
He told me they were reworking their mortgages and finances to try to pay off debt. That's about it. It wasn't a good, I got the feeling that it wasn't a good situation.
Yeah. You said earlier, he said at one point that he was happy in his marriage. Did that ever change? He's saying you go from that extreme to saying he didn't like his wife?
Yes. Yeah, and that's when I got the whole separated story. As did...
And that was after he...
Yes.
Did he tell you how that happened?
Oh. They had a fight. He walked out. That's all I got.
Did he tell you the fight was over you?
No.
Or did he tell you the fight was over?
He didn't say. It was just one more fight that he couldn't take it anymore and had to leave.
Did he ever say anything at all from people until November that his wife thought there was something between the two of you?
No.
Okay.
No. He talked about his children a lot.
Let me go back to November the 18th. I know it's going to be hard.
Okay.
First second,
Yes.
you heard what happened.
Yes.
Your women's intuition has got to be going off the radar.
No. That wasn't it at all.
What was you thinking?
First of all, I didn't know Rusty was dead until I got to the hospital.
When you called up, what was said to you when you were called at work, and by who? How did you first find out?
Called by Donna, who runs the Dunwoody Prep daycare.
What'd you tell you?
An accident happened.
Okay. And
assumed it was my son. She said it was Rusty. When I asked her what was going on, I screamed into the phone what was going on. She said she just needed me to come. So I ran down the stairs, and I drove all the way. I called my mom, my dad, my brother, told them to meet me at Dunwoody Prep. Something's happened to Rusty, and I had no idea what was going on. I got to Dunwoody Prep. I pulled up, I fell out of the car. All I see is yellow tape and a car. Rusty's car. I fell to the ground. Somebody picked me up. I don't know, some police person. They walked me into Dunwoody Prep. I still didn't know what had happened. No one was telling me. No one was telling me what was going on. So, they bring me into the office. And Corey Reno comes in, sits in front of me. And he says, what did he say? I asked him what was going on. He says, your husband's been hurt. We don't know what hospital he's at. We're trying to make this bullshit lie. And he says, is there anyone that would want to hurt your husband? And I said, I have no idea. And
So you don't have to rehash the rest of it, but as the day goes on, and you're going through your mind, at any point did you ever suspect it?
never. Never.
You never thought Hemy would have anything
Never.
until yesterday?
No, it was up until that email.
And you got that email that was on December the 28th?
Right. I didn't really even read it until recently. I didn't.
Why wouldn't you have called us on the 28th to tell us that he had sent you that? That's pretty bizarre.
I don't know.
So from the 28th until yesterday, after the 28th, you said you had a suspicion because he just said I didn't.
He said I didn't. Right.
So, and you're not trying to put words in your mouth, which meant to you, he could have or did. Is that fair?
Yeah. And you know what? I sat at my dining room table on Friday after this happened with Detective Andy. He asked me, anyone that has feelings towards me, I gave him Hemy's name immediately. Immediately. My in-laws were sitting right there at that same table. I want you to find something, and especially something else, because this is not my life.
How many times has Hemy been to your house?
He met with Rusty at my house one time to discuss his business suggestions. We took a car service home from one of the trips. I don't remember which one. Where I didn't take my car to the airport. It was probably the England trips.
Right. Excuse me for a second.
You've been here for a long time. I know you're getting tired. You never told Rusty that Hemy made any sort of inappropriate comments, inappropriate commentary, nothing.
Marcia made me quit my job and I have nothing.
Marcia, yes or no?
No, I never told.
You told Detective Thompson something I find interesting. He asked you about someone trying to involve themselves in your relationship.
Yes.
You told him about Hemy.
I did.
He asked you about anyone with Rusty. Do you remember what you said?
Anyone with what?
Rusty. Do you remember what you told him?
He asked me what? Anyone?
He asked you if there's someone's trying to put a wedge in the marriage.
Yeah, and I told him Hemy.
Okay. That was in regards to you.
Yes.
What did you tell him, or do you remember what you told him about Rusty?
He asked if Rusty would ever have any girlfriends. Did he say that? He repeated that question to me again when I was here. Would there be people interested in Rusty? Is that...
Do you remember what you said?
I said absolutely not.
Why would you say that?
Because... he's a loyal husband, father.
The question isn't about his behavior. The question is not about your behavior. The question is about Hemy's behavior. And the question is about someone's behavior directed toward Rusty. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It doesn't have anything to do with Rusty. You said on the first occasion, no one would be interested in him.
And Rusty.
Mm-hmm. Why would you think that no one would be interested in Rusty?
And so Andy asked me that again when I was sitting in this room. And he seems to be fixated, and you do too, on that comment. I'm not sure why.
Because the issue is not Rusty, and the issue is not you. The issue is Hemy.
Yeah.
And anyone else that might have been interested in Rusty. The issue is not you.
What I told Andy is that Rusty was so busy, didn't have time to go to the bathroom, let alone... I've had affairs, or... Is that what you're asking me? Okay, is it a possibility that there's some girl out there that loved Rusty? It just sounds ridiculous to me. I guess that's ridiculous as someone being interested in me, I suppose, now that we're talking about it.
Well, you're saying that you see that as ridiculous as someone would have an affection toward Rusty. Would Rusty think it was ridiculous that Hemy would have an affection towards you?
I can't answer that.
You see, I need to ask you one question. Sure. Can you spell Alan's last name for me?
Let me try. S-C-H-A. I think it's A-C-H-T-E-L-Y. It's a complicated name. I'm not sure.
One more time. S-C-H.
Can I look on my phone?
Sure.
S-C-H-A-C-H-T-E-L-Y. Can I cell phone number?
That'd be great.
404-202.
Sure. Hang on a second. Go ahead.
404-202.
7082.
Before I went outside, I was asking you about how many times Hemy had been to your house. You said just the one time that Rusty and another time dropped off in the car.
Right, dropped off at car service. Then, not but a couple weeks before this happened, Hemy and I had a project to do where we had to work out a spreadsheet of people's job roles for a piece of software I was trying to roll out. And we worked all through the day, and we didn't finish, and it needed to be done the next morning. So he came over to my house and worked on it with me, and Rusty was home. And Rusty sat at the kitchen table across from him, worked on his computer while Hemy and I were sitting there working on my computer.
And that was 2 weeks, pretty sure.
A couple weeks, yeah. I have to look back at my calendar to see when that spreadsheet was due.
I was surprised you that it was 2 days.
It could be.
Okay.
We were on a cruise until Monday night. What did I do Tuesday? It could have been.
light back here.